Solving multi-step equations. You've been solving one-step equations and two-step equations, and now we're going to be moving on to solving some that have more than two steps. So the first one we're going to be doing is simplifying the equation before you solve it. Okay? If you look at this one, we've got 3n plus 9 plus 4n equals 2. The thing that's different about this one than what you've been doing before is instead of just having 3n plus 9 equals 2, we've got a 3n and a 4n in there. Luckily though, but you've already done this before, what you're going to be doing is identifying the like terms. So which ones are the like terms here? Well, you've got 3n, positive 3n, and a positive 4n. So our first step was to identify the like terms, and now our second step is going to be to combine the like terms. So when we combine the like terms, we're going to get 3n plus 4n, and that's going to give us 7n plus, and what's left is the 9 equals 2. Let's draw that line down the middle there. Well, down the equal sign, not necessarily down the middle, but down the equal sign. Now, what's the next step we have to do? Right, we're going to do minus 9 because we're adding 9 here. So the opposite of adding 9 is going to be subtracting 9. So we're going to subtract 9 from each side. So that gives us minus 9 and minus 9 on this side as well. Draw our line to indicate our new step. And then I go to the trouble here that you won't have to do. I'm telling you that you need to simplify that, but you know to simplify that. So now you would put 7n, these cancel each other out, and you put the equal sign, negative 9 and positive 2, and give you the difference between, well, excuse me, you have a negative number and a positive number. So you're going to get the difference between the two. So you got 9 minus 2, you get 7, keep the sign of the bigger number, so that gives you negative 7. So what's our next step? Right, we have to get rid of that that positive 7 in front of the n. So we're going to divide both sides by 7. This is just like what you've been doing now. Once you simplified it and got identified the like terms and combined them, then that's whenever you got to a regular problem. So these cancel each other out, and you're left with n equals negative 1. That last step that I didn't touch down there was to simplify. Okay? Now, since you have completely grasped that, I think it's time for you to do your work. Pause the video, try this one, and then get back with me. Okay, so I hope that you got the right answer. What's the first thing you got to do? First thing you got to do is identify the like terms. There's 5b and a negative 2b. Let me get a different color up here. We'll try green. And then we've got a positive 12 and a positive 6. So we're going to get negative 15 equals a 5b and a minus 2b. You subtract because they're different signs. So that gives you 3b. And the sign with the bigger number is positive. So we're going to have positive 3b. Then we've got a positive 12 and a positive 6. That gives us positive 18. So now we've got one of these two-step equations that we're used to having by now. So we're going to do minus 18 on this side. Oh, don't forget to draw the line. And minus 18 on this side of the equation. Draw the line for the new step. You got same signs, so that means you're going to add and keep. So that gives you 33. Keep the sign. Equals, these cancel each other out, and you're left with 3b. Now how do I get rid of the 3? I divide by 3 on both sides. I'm sure you did that. Then negative 33 divided by 3 gives us negative 11 equals b. Okay, did you get that? Congratulations. Alright, let's move on. This time we're going to be using the distributive property. There's a couple of ways to be able to solve this one. We're going to do it the hard way the first time, and what I consider to be the easy way the second time. It's very important in math. We always want to do things with as much vigor as possible, but it's best to find the easiest way to do it so that you're less likely to make a mistake. This is how you do the distributive property. You go 24 times 34. That gives us 816. You do 24 times R, and that gives us 24R equals 1200. So what did we just do? We used the distributive property to go 24 times 34 and 24 times R, and we got 816 plus 24R equals 1200. Now we've got a two-step equation just like what you've been working before. What's the first thing we need to do? Right, you need to get rid of that 816 because that's a positive 816 plus 24 times R. So you've got two things. You're adding 816 and you're multiplying 24 times R. And remember, using SADMAP, you're going to do things backwards. So you take care of addition and subtraction first. So we're going to do minus 816 and minus 816. And that gives us 24R equals 384. I'm sure you already had that in your mind too. The reason I have it in my mind is because I've already done this several times. So we had to simplify to get that. Now what's the next step we're going to do? Right, you divide by 24 on both sides. So we come here and we go divided by 24. Divided by 24, draw our line for the step, and I bet you can't guess what this final step tells you to do. Right, simplify. So we go 24 divided by 24, they cancel each other out, and you're left with R equals, and everybody knows that 384 divided by 24 is 16. Alright, now for the easy way to do it. First thing you should always check, does this number, the 24, go into this number, the 1200? That's the first thing I always check, because if it goes in there an exact whole number of times, then that's the method that you should use, okay? So 24 does go into 1200, so I'm going to divide both sides by 24. You see, this is just like if you had 24x equals 1200. This is 24 times something equals 1200. This is 24 times something equals 1200. And if you had this one, what you would do is you would divide by 24 on both sides. Well, that's the same thing you're going to do over here. So now we draw a line for the next step. These cancel each other out, and you're left with 34 plus R equals 50. And how do we do this? We go minus 34 and minus 34, and that gives us R equals 16. Same answer we got the last time. It's just a little bit shorter method of doing it. But the thing you got to remember is check. Let's see if this had been 1201 right here, 1201. 1201 divided by 24 would not go an exact whole number of times, so I would not have used the method for that one. Okay? Now we've got your turn. 2 times x plus 12 equals 34. You choose whatever method you want to solve it. You can use the first method or the second method. Pause the video, and then when you finish, resume the video, and we'll see how you did. Okay. Which one did you choose? Well, I'm going to do the first one I'm going to do is divide both sides by 2. And that gives me, these cancel each other out. That leaves me with x plus 12 equals 17. Minus 12 on both sides. And that leaves us with x equals 5. Did you get 5? If you got 5, then you should be happy. Okay, good job. Doesn't matter which way you did it, as long as you got 5, you're a success. Okay, the distributive property again. This is especially where it can come in useful when dealing with fractions, the method that I just showed you. Because see, if you do this one, you're going to do 8 ninths times z, which gives you 8 Well, very good. 8/9 z minus 8/9, because 8/9 times z gives you 8/9 z. 8/9 times -1 gives you -8/9 equals 16. Now we would have to do plus 8/9 and plus 8/9, and you can see how this might get a little complicated dealing with the fractions and everything. Although we love fractions, fractions are our friends, it's not the shortest way to do this. The shortest way to do this, let me erase this. The shortest way to do this one is this. If you had 8, I don't know why I have trouble writing that 8. 8/9 x equals 16. The way you would solve it is multiply by the reciprocal on both sides. Well, you do this one no different. You've got 8/9 times something. Over here you had 8/9 times something. The way you solved it over here was multiplying by the reciprocal. So the way you're going to solve it over here is by multiplying by the reciprocal as well. Look, that was a good 8. And so we multiply this side by 9/8 as well. Draw a line, draw a line. Now, these two cancel each other out, and you're left with z minus 1 equals. And remember, I've told you several times that a fraction is just a multiplication and a division problem, or a division and a multiplication problem. You divide by the bottom number, multiply by the top number. So we're going to go 16 divided by 8 gives you 2, times 9 gives you 18. Once again, 16 divided by 8 times 9, 18. So now you've got a simple problem here. Add 1 to both sides, and that gives you z equals 19. Okay, very good. I hope that this gives you an idea of how to do the multi-step equations. Good luck.